no Jedi.
Your powers are weak, old man.
Always remember, your focus determines your reality.
Hello there.
General Kenobi! You don't know the power of the dark side.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
That's crazy. Hey guys, welcome back to Disciples of the Force podcast. Austin just tried to cut me off. That's so crazy and cool. We are here with our great friend Jaren, who will be a guest star here.
What's up, guys? It's been a dream of mine. Thank you so much for letting me on.
Yeah, Jaren's been asking for a while to be included on this pod, and he finally made it. We wanted him to watch Clone Wars and Rebels before we let him on, and he should have, because we just watched Ahsoka tonight, and he was pretty critical.
Yeah,
so
he bullied everything he saw.
More of a live-action Star Wars fan.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, I was that way too until my eyes were open. So just give it time.
Cool. Ignorance is bliss. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be talking about today is the new Ahsoka series that just dropped. First 2 episodes came out tonight. We just finished watching that, and we're going to kind of dive into that. Yeah. There's no Star Wars news except for Ahsoka. So anything else?
Any news, Jaren? Anything in the
Yeah. Jaren's more in the loop than we are.
Yeah,
so
he knows stuff. So to start, what were your initial thoughts going into Ahsoka? You thought gonna be good, gonna be bad? Either of you, let's hear it.
Well, I was really worried going in. Just the trailers, they all looked pretty cheesy to me, pretty bad visually. And then when we got here, Jaren was like, "Do you want to hear the IMDb score?" And I was like, or the IGN score. I was like, "No, I don't want to hear it." Wanted to go in blind. And I was pretty impressed with how it looks, because that was my biggest worry, was the visuals. And everything looked pretty great to me.
Yeah, there was only like 1 or 2 things I was like, but
yeah.
for the most part, it's good.
Yeah. And story-wise, it seems pretty solid so far. I like most of the performances. They're okay. So, not too.
Yeah, I saw a trailer a while ago that I thought looked pretty bad. But then I saw one a few weeks ago that I thought was good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I didn't really have much expectations just because I didn't,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know Ahsoka that well. So.
Right.
But no, good. Pleasantly surprised, I guess. But, still some issues. A lot of exposition in this episode.
Yeah, that was
which was
annoying.
good for me. I didn't I needed that a bit, but I can see why it'd be annoying for some of you guys who know more.
I guess it's a good point, because I guess they do realize people who are watching this might be a lot of people who haven't seen the series at all. And so maybe that's why they have that.
Because really, to fully appreciate this, you would have had to watch like 80 plus hours of Star Wars, animated Star Wars, to really be invested. So most people aren't going to do that.
Yeah. What was the IGN score, Jaren? Do you know?
It was a 7.
Oh,
so,
pretty good.
Decent.
It's not bad.
Yeah, IGN is usually pretty lax with properties like this, like big IPs or nerdy stuff. So I don't know how good that is, but that's pretty good overall.
Yeah. I think for me, the biggest thing I couldn't stand was the fact that every time something popped up, they explained it to like one thing was like, oh, it's gonna overheat or the battery's charging. It's like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, we were.
I have eyes, But
I heard it described as like this is it. It seems like it's that they're Clone Wars episodes just made into live action, which sounds stupid, but when you think about it, the way Dave has been writing these first 2 episodes, at least, every nuance seems like it fits in within his animated universe. Yeah. And so if you haven't seen any of that, it might seem kind of far-fetched and kind of silly, but I think it worked for me. Like the whole time I was sitting there and I was like, it checks all these boxes. Like Rosario Dawson has done a great job so far of kind of imitating animated Ahsoka's mannerisms, and even her cadence of speech. You can tell that she's really researched how Ashley Eckstein delivered those lines and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed with that.
So when you said, because you remember we were watching, you said it looks like she did her research, like that's a fact that she did study, or did you just think she went into it?
Well, I know when she's been on The Mandalorian before, it's been said that she did a lot of research and watched all of the Clone Wars stuff to get ready for Ahsoka. So I would imagine with her being the front runner of this series, that she would have done that research and continued it. So, and it seems like it, unless through Dave Filoni's writing and directing, because he knows the character better than everybody. Like I could see a world where he just wrote it so that she is kind of put into that box where she delivers it just like the Ahsoka that we know and love. But I think it's both of those things.
Yeah, I mean, she did an excellent job. It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Jane, you have any questions of it? Anything you didn't understand, dude?
No, it's pretty. I kind of was just getting it. The guy Ezra, he's lost, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like Luke. It reminded me of Luke when he's lost at the beginning of Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great film, by the way.
Yeah.
I know you guys love the sequels on this podcast, so
Big sequel guys over here.
I hope he when they find him, they give him his lightsaber. Sabine had his lightsaber.
So we figured out that was Ezra's
He'll
lightsaber.
probably like throw it into outer space
no,
behind his head.
Yeah, he'll do that for sure.
That's
No,
so
I'm excited
Ezra.
for that big plot twist. So
Well, I mean, that shows how good they did that. I mean, you weren't lost if you've never seen anything.
Yeah.
You knew exactly what's happening.
I'm just pretty good at picking stuff
That's
up.
true.
Yeah,
You pick up on the subtle
Jaren's
things.
smart as a whip. I am curious to know if our listeners, how many of you are really invested? I mean, it seems like a lot of our listeners are invested in all of Star Wars because we get corrected for shiz that we say wrong all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
But
Every day.
I wonder how many of them are also coming in like a Jaren, who are live action Star Wars people and need some of this talking about. So, ooh.
Oh, we lost him. Are you still in the...
Okay. Should we pause or should we just wait for him to hop back in?
We can keep going. He can. I think because when he comes in, I'll keep going.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'll mark it to edit it. Yeah. So there was a couple of things that we saw while watching it that we were writing down. I don't remember the first bullet point.
Let me pull it up. But
And-
to his point where it reminded him of
Go
Force
ahead.
Awakens, you kept saying that it reminded you of some of the original trilogy.
Yeah, there were some shots that were going on. I think, especially like when Ahsoka and I forgot the droid's name.
It's spelled Huyang.
That,
Yang,
Yang.
I think.
That sounds
Yang.
right. When they were coming in to, I think it was Lothal, the way they shot it reminded me a lot of New Hope, or even going to Empire Strikes Back with Lando when he's flying.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the music reminded me a lot of it. Like there was I can't explain it, but like the crescendo
Yeah.
thing going.
Kind of like that staccato type stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and that reminded me heavily of the originals and the music that they had, which is really different from what we're used to. Like, we're used to with these ones, crazy new like ways of making the music. Like for example, when Sabine's riding down the path at the very beginning, and it's kind of like that rock. So that's what we're used to. So going back to something like that felt cool. It was like a little homage to the originals, which maybe that's exactly what they were trying to do. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think that new music has its place for sure, but I did like that a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm just pulling up the notes. Spencer's phone is like broken, so he kept trying to make notes on his phone, and I told him to put it away because it's too bright.
It's like a daggum flashbang when I open it.
So we made notes on my phone. So the first one I have is that Yang. Dude, we're going to be pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah, please don't hurt us. I'm sorry.
So when we first see him,
We have
we have a
buddy
guest in the audience. He just gave us a look that we're pronouncing that wrong. Anyway, when we first saw him, it was in an episode of the Clone Wars where he was shown to be this ancient Jedi droid that helps the Padawan learn how to build their lightsabers. So a cool little detail within this episode was Ahsoka tells him to track the lightsabers of the two villains that we see pop up, and just a really cool thing because he would have a database of all of the lightsabers ever created,
Right.
more or less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
And that was that is like that's what I love about Dave Filoni is he learned a lot from George, and they pull everything, and so such a small detail, But again, I didn't even realize that. Austin pointed it out to me halfway through, so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, he's going to be a big character in the series.
Yeah,
it seems like.
looks like unless they kill him in the third episode, which
I kind of hope so because he's just being the exposition guy,
Yeah.
which is kind of annoying. But I guess if you haven't seen it, again, it has its
He was
place.
my favorite
He was your
character
favorite
Yeah,
in the
blew
whole
your
show.
mind.
I didn't know that the temperature was rising
Yeah.
in the droid's head or anything like that. So,
You're right. He's needed.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know the next one we have on there. I'm pretty sure is about Morgan, right?
Yeah.
Which
So-
is
No, go ahead. She's a Night Sister. She's a descendant of the Night Sisters. That's just the note that we have here. I'll text it to you so you can read
yeah.
it.
Thank you. Which was interesting to us, and we don't recall that being ever explained at all in the Mandalorian when she first showed up. So if you guys know that that was explained, maybe we can go back and rewatch and find out. But that was pretty big to us to hear that, pulling a Night Sister into the live action is cool. We gotta see her little spells at work. Yeah, I think that was just a cool thing to see that we didn't. I think I didn't know for sure. So
Yeah, no. It's the first time we've ever seen that green force magic used in live action, for sure.
yeah, that's true. It was nice.
You have any questions about the witches, the Night Sisters of Dathomir?
We can give you a whole rundown real quick.
Yeah, I didn't know there were witches in Star Wars, It just seems like a Harry Potter
Yeah.
thing. No, I mean, I think when I played the video game
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen
Yeah.
Order, I think there's a little bit of a reference to the witches in
There's
there,
there's a
maybe.
huge reference because you spend
Oh,
a lot
there's
of your
huge
time
one,
on.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Zach's fault. He's our guest in the audience.
Wow.
That is so
Goodness.
unprofessional.
And he said he wouldn't be in this.
That's crazy.
it's crazy.
That's crazy.
In that video game, though, you spend a lot of your time on Dathomir, and one of the main characters. I don't want to spoil the video game for anybody who hasn't played it. One of the main characters that you have like this kind of weird romance with is a Night Sister.
Okay.
So it's pretty big.
Yeah, it is. I liked it. Sounds
Yeah.
cool. I also, who is the dual-bladed lightsaber guy
Inquisitor
at
dude.
the end there? I heard you. Oh, so it's Inquisitor.
It must be. I mean, those lightsabers are pretty much always associated with Inquisitors.
I heard you say that you saw a theory online
yeah.
that it could be. Who
It was kind of a
Who did
joke
you say?
theory, but people were saying that might be like a brainwashed Ezra.
You said that, and I was like, that makes sense to me. It
Yeah,
could be.
but I think narratively that would be a bad choice because then, like, what's driving them to go into this new galaxy and in search of it? I mean, I guess they're in search
They
of
don't know.
Thrawn more than
Yeah.
anything. Like
That's true.
Ezra is kind of
A
Sabine's
bonus.
mission. Yeah. So maybe that would work.
It could work, and maybe, that would be really interesting if they pulled that.
yeah.
Else, why else would we keep their identity a secret and have that kind of extended fight sequence with Ahsoka if it wasn't somebody special?
Right.
yeah.
So, yeah, maybe.
I think there is some sort of reveal
Yeah,
coming.
it's definitely going to be
Do you remember when the Force Awakens trailer came out and we didn't know who Kylo Ren was? We didn't know who he was under the mask.
Yes.
And there was a theory that it was Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I believed that a little bit
Really?
going in. Well, it's fun to
Well, I mean, that would have been
look
cool.
into. I'm not much of a conspiracy
No,
theorist
no.
or whatever.
Far from it. I've never even
Yeah.
heard you say it.
But I think it's either Reva,
Riva,
or it's Ezra.
but I hope it's not Riva.
Yeah, that
I
would
think
be a
I
Disney-
think
poor-
she's still after Obi-Wan.
It'd be a poor
Even
writing
though
decision
he's
for it
dead.
to be Reva.
Also, what would her motivations be to? Anyway, I think the galaxy would be too small if that ended up being
I
Riva.
know. I'm just kidding.
No, that's a great point. No,
No,
if
it's
you
not.
stand by it
It's a
wholeheartedly, that's
horrible
fine.
point.
No,
We accept all ideas, okay, man?
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Going back to that Kylo Ren thing, though, I think that would have been a cool reveal if that was Luke. I think that would have worked because you know
yeah.
how the original ending to Return of the Jedi was that Luke puts on Vader's mask after he kills him and he goes, "I'm Darth Vader now," and then it ends all bleak. Like that was a real thing going in.
Yeah.
People thought that was going to happen, and that was George. It wasn't like his original idea, but they talked about it.
Really?
That's why throughout the movie it's so heavily alluded to that he's like getting closer to the dark side
He's in this all
because they
black.
want that feeling of tension that could be a possibility.
Jeez.
So
I didn't know that.
I mean that would have
That's
been
really
cool if it came full circle.
Yeah, that would have been actually really cool.
Would have been better than what we
That
got.
would have been a million times
Yeah.
better.
Luke's storyline.
They should throw that in the What If series
Yeah,
for Star Wars.
Yeah. Are they gonna do that?
we're working on it. We're working with
yeah.
Disney.
You're emailing. Yeah.
The thing
okay,
is,
cool.
like, it's getting a lot more traction. At least on TikTok, I've seen a lot more videos and comments about that'd be a crazy What If series. So, who knows?
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
I think
We'll have to
that'd be a great idea.
when Ahsoka wraps up. We'll have to do an episode about potential what ifs. That'd be pretty fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So the next thing I had on here, so at the end of the Thrawn treason book, the last of the trilogy, he's very heavily looked at that he's a traitor. Like, the Empire does not really trust him at all.
Okay.
Which is not really a huge spoiler because that's like the whole theme throughout the book. People are wondering his true allegiance of what he's doing.
So does that book end before or after Rebels? Well, it can't be after Rebels.
No, it's right before. It's like going into Rebels.
Interesting.
Because he gets called into by the Emperor to say, hey, come in, we have a rebel problem on Lothal. And that's literally, and it just kicks right into Rebels when he shows up. So really cool.
Wow, great.
Yeah. So it's heavily like, people are questioning if he's really, is he really a Chiss, working for them, or is he true to the Empire? And I wonder if that's going to come up to play here, because that was what was happening before anything. So, but with Palpatine being dead,
yeah,
I don't know. That would be interesting to see if people are still questioning where his loyalty is, or if he's really still working for the Chiss.
Yeah,
his wholehearted mission. I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Interesting. Because we noticed at the end, I don't want to get ahead of us, but at the very end, the ship that Morgan Elsbeth is on seems like it's a Chiss ship.
Right.
I don't know how much we've seen of that. I'm sure we've seen some illustrations and things like that in the comics. Yeah. But you can tell from the holograms and from the droids and just the overall kind of design of that ship that it seems like it's not true to the Star Wars galaxy that we know. So I think that's a Chiss ship.
Yeah, I agree. And when you pointed that out, I thought that's 100% probably what it is, because it's nothing we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I was just looking at photos to see if I could see, not photos, but comics, if there was one of that, but I'm not seeing anything. Yeah. So, with that, what was I going to say with that? I totally lost my train of thought. Jaren, you got anything? Jaren?
No, just nothing.
Okay.
I think I can't remember.
Were you going to say something about the Chiss or the design or anything like that?
I don't know. It's gone. It's out of my brain, dude.
Okay, Bubba.
It's out of my hands. I don't know what's happening. It's not important. But yeah, I do want to read the comics though of Thrawn. I wonder.
Yeah.
Because I only saw those from actually TikTok when they were showing images of when they were talking about Thrawn. But I mean, he's definitely going to be a crazy character in this series, with everything we've seen with him. So I'm excited to see him. Okay, what episode do you think they show him in? Do you think it's this next one, or do you think they're going to hold out for a little bit longer?
Well, the runtime on the next one. So this first episode was 56 minutes. The second one was 44 minutes. The third one is apparently going to be like 34 minutes.
Oh, really?
Like a short. So maybe that means they will show him. Like, they've got to cut it off early because
he shows up.
They can't build up to his reveal enough. How many episodes is this going to be? 6 or 10 or 8?
Should be 8.
I hope it's at least 8. I mean,
yeah.
These first two are pretty promising. I wasn't too disappointed with them. I feel like every
8.
Okay, 8. That's good. This far into The Mandalorian, I felt like it was going to be bad. This most recent season.
After the second episode?
Yeah, by the second episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian, I felt like it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
Before Lizzo showed up, I was out.
Yeah.
But when she showed up, I was in. Yeah.
You were in.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack Black was there too, so that was awesome.
Of course, Lizzo is getting canceled right now, which
I know.
Jaren prayed for times like this.
Yeah. He'd call me every night and say, dude, are you praying? I'm like, about what? He goes, let's get that.
No.
Whatever, dude.
We'll finish it because people are
I just feel bad for her.
Let's get that girl canceled.
That backup dancers,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, one other thing. I don't know. I'm just kind of bouncing around my thoughts. I didn't really write down too much.
I didn't either because my phone was blinding everyone. I felt bad grabbing
I'm glad
yours.
you didn't. One thing I'm excited for is there's been this theory among people who hate the sequels, which I don't subscribe to. I don't subscribe to this theory.
You don't subscribe to the hate or the theory?
Neither. Okay. I love the sequels.
You
I love the sequels.
Okay.
No, I'm okay with the sequels.
Greatest trilogy of all time.
Yeah. Above the Before trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Above Planet of the Apes trilogy.
Okay.
above the Godfather trilogy. By the way, let's just plug it right now. I know we were going to wait till halfway through the episode. Jaren and I have a film podcast. If you're listening, you're into film, go ahead and go over there. Spencer's going to come back on.
Yeah, I'll make some appearances.
Okay,
again.
good.
Yeah, we'll see. Just kidding. He let me on here, so I'm so grateful.
1 for 1.
Yeah, 1 for 1.
So this theory has it that Dave Filoni is going to introduce another galaxy, which so far, within these 2 episodes, he has. What I've always understood is that the Chiss Empire resided in the unknown regions, which are still in the Star Wars galaxy.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, but we know from the end of Rebels, well, 2 of us do. Jaren doesn't know this. The end of Rebels,
I could, dude.
the Purgle, which are these hyperspace residing whales, which sounds fun.
I saw those.
Yes, they're
in the Mandalorian.
they're in the Mandalorian. Yes.
Those whales.
So that was like a little tip of the hat, tip of the fedora.
Little tip of the
A
hat.
little tip of the fedora.
tip of the
To
fedora.
Juan.
To the
Anyway, so those Purgle take Ezra and Thrawn into, somewhere else. That's all we know.
somewhere else.
This is revealed in these first 2 episodes that's a separate galaxy apart from our Star Wars galaxy. So they're not in the unknown regions where the Chiss reside. They're in a different galaxy. So some people are theorizing that all of our characters that are kind of getting treatments right now, like Ahsoka and Sabine and Ezra, and even eventually Boba Fett and the Mandalorian and everything, are going to be transported through some storyline to this new galaxy. And that's going to be a seed for a new Star Wars storyline that's apart from the sequels.
But it takes place same time.
Same everything. So we'd have we'd have similar characters, and I'm sure a similar Star Wars-esque galaxy. I don't subscribe to this conspiracy theory,
Okay.
Right.
but this is what the people are
What
saying.
would be the point of
The
doing
point
that?
would be you don't have to build off of the sequels.
You
So you have a
can-
clean slate again.
No Ray.
No
No
Rey.
Rey.
But here's what throws that into question. I mean, that theory was about before Star Wars Celebration. Since Star Wars
Yeah.
Celebration, we've been treated with the fact that we're going to have a Rey-based movie. So,
But it does also allow for them to, make kind of like you're saying, a clean slate of a sequel trilogy that maybe people like more, and
Yeah.
they can expand off that. I don't know. It would be interesting to see if they would do it.
and I don't want that to happen. I think it would make it a little too mucky.
It would get confusing of who's here,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
this happening at this time.
But at the same time, it would be pretty cool. You could appease whatever fandom you want.
Yeah.
For people who love the sequel and for the generations that will come that grew up with the sequels, they'll be able to have those treatments and those stories and everything like that. Us folk who hate that and hate female protagonists, right?
Whoa! I don't
I don't either.
Not us.
No, us folk would have other stories in this new galaxy. But again, I don't like that idea. So,
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
like that.
I don't think Star Wars is complicated enough.
sure.
I think it's too simple.
No,
Right.
that's a great point.
It's just laser swords and,
Yeah.
princesses.
Well, no, to that point, I mean, when we're at a point now where we're just repeating stories and we're just kind of like nostalgia baiting,
Yeah.
there is a problem with that. It wouldn't be bad to have such a fresh new thing.
Yeah.
But at what point is it,
Yeah.
Because another thing, sorry,
Go ahead.
Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon trailer just released today. And apparently that was birthed out of him wanting to do a Star Wars movie and being rejected. So he just kind of went and did his own thing, Star Wars-esque universe. And that trailer looks like crap.
Is it all in slow-mo?
It's watch it. It's not in
Okay.
slow-mo, but it's all like motion blur. Like, I guess it is slow-mo. Anyway, take a look at it. It looks dumb. So I would hate for them to like be transported to this new galaxy, because you can tell that it's like kind of Star Wars, kind of Dune, but it's neither, and it looks like a knockoff. So I'd hate if Disney put our Star Wars stories in a new galaxy, tried the same thing, but again, it has that like empty, hollow feeling because it's not what we're used to. It's not what we love.
Yeah. I wouldn't
But
like
if they're
that.
basing it off of Rebels,
Yeah.
they could get some a little bit of not so hollow.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know.
And at the end of the day, like the Star Wars galaxy is big enough where you can do different stories like that within the galaxy and make it all work. So,
and then end up on Tatooine again.
Yeah, exactly. We need more of that. Give me more.
More Tatooine, yeah.
One thing I was going to say, and I'm curious to see, when they do eventually go for Thrawn, I'm wondering if they're going to grab a navigator or how they're going to go, because typically going into those unknown regions, it's not like traditional hyperspace, like the hyper lanes. What are they called, lanes?
Yeah, hyperspace lanes.
Yeah, so it's not traditional that they can't just hop into it. They have to use someone who's force sensitive to navigate through them, because there's a bunch of things in them, and that's actually, I didn't even realize, but that was seen in Rey goes through one of those in, I can't remember, but that was brought up by Screen Crush. There's a scene in the sequels where Rey has to go through a hyperlane that's not traditional, and she has to use the force to kind of navigate through it.
Oh, really?
I got to pull it back up, but I never realized that at all. I don't know what movie it's in.
Well, you know what sucks about that is Rise of Skywalker, your favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
They kind of did away with that, because we see at the beginning Poe and Finn running from the First Order, and they're just like hyperspace skipping is what he calls it. And he's not force sensitive, but he's not following. Poe is not force sensitive, but he's not following hyperspace lanes. He's just hopping and skipping. And so it's like, oh, well, I guess in canon you don't need to be force sensitive anymore, which is stupid.
But it takes place before, so maybe it explains that. Maybe they'll use that. Who knows?
Well, no, this takes
maybe
place.
Poe was force sensitive.
Maybe he was.
Maybe he was.
It's true.
We never found out if Finn was.
That's true. But we know Poe's lineage.
We do.
Yeah. Like his dad was on Endor, and we know he's not force sensitive. He's just like a regular dude.
Yeah. Well,
but I guess it's not hereditary. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, because there's people who get it who aren't, like Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Is force sensitive. Anyways. But with that, that would be interesting to see how they're going to navigate, because I think they're going to run into some problems. But they're building that giant, whatever that thing is, that has a bunch of...
Yeah, those hyperspace cores, hyperspace drive cores, were all brought to that big old ring that we saw Morgan Elsbeth on at the end. So. But yeah, in that case, I don't know. Well, they'd still have the computing power to get there, but maybe there is a lane that exists between the two galaxies.
Yeah, sure, there could be. There was a straight line to it.
And like they had a map.
Yeah.
So maybe
it is just a straight line.
Enough.
It'll be interesting to see. Maybe we're just overcomplicating it. It's just gonna be simple. They just go straight to it.
Well, I don't know if we are. I think Morgan Elsbeth will be able to go straight to it because she has the map. I think Ahsoka will have to use the Force to guide to that. We'll see.
I hope they get to Thrawn soon.
Yeah.
I mean, the hype around him, just from like listening to the pod, Disciples, right? Thrawn seems like a really cool character from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So I am excited to see him in live action, even though I'm not familiar with the TV shows or whatever. I've heard you're reading the book, and he sounds like he's some sort of mastermind.
Yeah, well, he's the greatest military mind in all of Star Wars, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, he's really smart.
And he's really cool because he comes from this unknown empire. He infiltrates the empire in our Star Wars galaxy and, like, rises through the ranks. And there's all this complicated dynamic with him. He's just a really cool and complex character.
Yeah, and, like, anything he does, there's literally a reason behind it. He doesn't just do anything on a whim, which is really cool. But yeah, like you're saying, I think it's gonna be. I think they will do it this next episode, and I think they're surrounding a lot of hype around him right now. You know, the first and second episode they talked about him, and so I think when he shows up, it's gonna be a pretty cool reveal.
Yeah. And the good thing is, this is like Dave Filoni's pet project, and he's one of Thrawn's biggest, mega fans. So I think he will make most of the series about Thrawn.
Yeah,
that's good.
So it's actually going to, I think on the 4th episode, they're just going to cross out Ahsoka and write Thrawn above it for the opening crawl.
That'd be cool.
Dude, that'd be so sick.
Is there anything else?
I mean, no, I
think we got a lot.
Here's what we usually do. We've been kind of out of practice because there hasn't been a new series since The Bad Batch. And what we would usually do is we'd both make tons of notes, and then we'd have a ton of material to talk about. This time,
you spin the wheel.
What's that?
Then you spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Yes.
True.
I I kind of honestly came into this with really low expectations. I was like, I'm not even going to make notes. I'm just going to try to enjoy it. And I think that worked well for me.
Yeah. And I also think with it, there wasn't a lot to write down because, I don't know, because when we were going with the Bad Batch, we had already had season 1 that we were going to base off. I mean, we had the Rebels with this, but we didn't know going into what we were going to see. Yeah. So there wasn't much to write down, I guess.
Yeah. One good thing is I love with these shows when you see most of what's included in the trailer within the first couple of episodes.
Yeah, I noticed that
which is great because that means they haven't revealed a lot of what the whole plan is. So
now we've got it all out of the way of what we've seen in the trailers. We can get to the good stuff.
Exactly.
You know?
So I think going forward, as you're watching an episode like this where you've seen all of this stuff in like little glimpses in the trailers, you're just kind of connecting the dots. But going forward, we'll actually have a little bit more to talk about. So I'm excited for that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that. These are smart cookies.
Sure.
Real quick, do you think they should have stopped it after episode 1? Do you think there was enough hype around everything that if they episode 1 they didn't need to release 2 today?
That was a great point. You asked me that during the podcast because we were talking about that. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi did the same thing, a 2-episode reveal, and I think if I remember correctly, they did that because it got delayed, right? Like it got delayed a couple, 6 weeks.
They said we're going to give you 2. Yes,
because Ewan McGregor had that thing where he came out and he was like,
There's nothing wrong with the script, guys.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He said, we're just going over this again. And there was nothing wrong with the script. So
so in that case, it was like they gave us 2 episodes as a little treat for being patient. With this, I mean, everything's come on time. So it's like, and like we were talking about, the first episode would have hooked me.
Yeah.
I would have been ready to see more. So they didn't really need to give us a second one, but I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
Because maybe that makes sense. If they're giving us all of this now, we're right on the cusp of finding out what Morgan Elsbeth is doing. We're right on the cusp of going to that new galaxy. And then Thrawn is going to come in the 3rd episode. And from there, it's just going to run. Yeah. So that would make sense.
That's a good point.
I hope that's what happens.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how Sabine got stabbed with the lightsaber?
Yeah, that's one thing.
I'm just a little bit sick of. I want to be negative, right? But
be negative.
These big, action sequences happening, and it seems like there's going to be consequences, and there's no consequences to anything.
Yeah,
I mean, how many people got stabbed in Obi-Wan and Book of Boba Fett? Like everybody.
Twice. Well, Reva 3 times, and it by Darth Vader in the temple. I guess it was twice.
It was twice, in the temple, and then at the end.
And then at the end.
Did the Inquisitor? Oh, no, that was the time.
But she stabbed him, and he survived.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, and we don't even know if she's dead, right?
No, she's alive because she tries to get Luke at the end.
Yeah.
Doesn't she get stabbed again right there or something?
No, she walks away. She says, my thing's not done, and she walks off.
Okay, yeah.
So she just doesn't.
So she's alive, yeah.
And then you have...
I'm just a little sick of people getting stabbed. It makes me...
Well, yeah, and...
feel bad for Qui-Gon.
It does, and it just takes the stakes away from everything.
Yeah, no stakes.
Like you also think of Fennec Shand in episode 1 of The Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah, she gets wrecked.
She gets shot in the stomach. Ming-Na Wen's character. She gets shot in the stomach and then just survives and is a huge part of the series following. But it's weird that Disney's doing that. Like, I think... Here's what I think. Here's my theory. When Jedi Fallen Order, the video game, came out, everybody was upset that you couldn't... slice limbs off, and Disney said, "Well, we're not doing that because it's too violent, and this is like a family game." So you could slice the limbs off of droids, but like stormtroopers, you would just hit them, and they would die. So it's like, are they just afraid to cut limbs off in the Disney world?
I guess because I don't think anything's been cut off since George Lucas is on the reins.
But that would be way more effective, Like that's an actual stake where it's like, oh my gosh, she lost an arm. That's kind of scary,
dude. I missed limbs getting cut off. If
I do want to make a point that in Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the sequel to that game, you can cut limbs off. So maybe they're trending in a direction. I don't know.
So they corrected it there. Hopefully
But even when we were just watching this, Sabine gets stabbed, and I was like, oh no, I was genuinely surprised. And then before I could even let out no, both of you were like, oh, rolling your eyes because you knew she was going to survive.
She's obviously going to be fine,
which is so disappointing.
Well, and so this is the thing with that is I think you're right. There has to be some stakes. Like someone has to get something cut off, something loose. Like for example, going back to Kanan and Rebels, he got blinded.
Yeah, blinded.
By Darth Maul. And so there was this huge stake, total character development. It was awesome. And learned how to see again. And like right now, watching Game of Thrones, what I love about it is they'll just kill him. Like you think there's no way this is such a main character, and they do it. It shocks you. Like, oh, but that's something I'm not used to. Because, watching Star Wars, they're gonna live. It's fine.
Right.
Or getting limbs cut off is like a huge thing. It's like, I think it just because like we're at the point like you guys are saying where we watch it happen and we just go whatever, they're not gonna die.
Yeah.
We know they're not gonna die. Especially the first episode, I know that person's not gonna die. But if they did make her, if they killed her, that would have been insane. It would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of concerns me going forward with the rest of the series, actually, now that I think of it. Because, like, the only thing that would surprise me is if they kill off Thrawn.
That would.
But I feel like they want to reserve him, you know? Like, they want to tell more
He'll probably
of the story.
get his own spin-off.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
Like, and Dave Filoni has said that he's not going to kill off Ahsoka in live action. Her death is going to be in animation.
Oh, really?
There's no plans for animated series coming out in that time period. So, like, that's never going to happen.
She can't
So
die.
she's not going to die. Thrawn's, and it's not like we need somebody to die for it to be a good story, but there do need to be stakes, you know?
Yeah, you got to be scared because it's like, oh, they're having a lightsaber battle. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, the villain's probably going to die, but that's it.
Yeah.
So I think that, but I also think that, with that, what did you just say? It reminded me of something. I totally forgot my train of thought.
Maybe you should remember what I just said.
What did you say though?
That, like, are they going to kill Thrawn or Ahsoka off? There has to be stakes. You don't need to kill somebody to have there be stakes.
I think you do need to kill somebody off.
Yeah.
Think of every great movie ever.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Somebody dies.
Butch and Sundance die.
Yeah.
Caesar at the end of the Apes trilogy. Spoiler alert.
The Departed.
Yeah, we don't want to spoil.
Yeah, we're going to spoil every
Don't
movie
spoil
ever.
The Departed. The Godfather.
Yeah.
Right? I won't spoil that, but
That's a surprising one.
Yeah. So
it is.
I wonder, and then the other thing I wonder is like, since these characters are so crucial to them, they don't want to kill them off because they want to make money. They want to pull them off, like keep using them.
Yeah.
Or their children, they're like, well, we want to. I don't know.
Yeah.
See stupid things like that blocking it.
Dude, screw the children.
Whoa.
This is for us.
No,
okay? Ahsoka's for us. For you guys. More.
George was sending us a message in Revenge of the Sith when he just had Anakin mow down all those kids.
Yeah.
You're right.
You know, that's what Disney needs to. Disney needs to be Darth Vader and kill a bunch of kids.
No, but I mean, seriously though, you guys grew up with these rebels and the Clone Wars. You know, now you're older. You want a more, just an older story. You know,
Well, to that point,
more mature.
Yeah,
you make a good point that even in Clone Wars, they kill off characters all the time. Like think about clones.
All the clones,
You get really attached to a lot of them. Gone.
Yeah.
Uncle Ono, he gets rocked.
Uncle Ono, Fives.
There's like, so it's like they're not afraid to make a connection and sever it. I mean, I know Dave Filoni's done it in the past.
Well, that was Dave and George.
It's George. I mean, so I guess George, when you take him out of the picture, there's nothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. I hope they do kill someone.
Here's what's great.
Think of the best. Sorry,
go
I
ahead,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off. Think of the best Disney Star Wars live action movie. Everybody dies.
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's true.
You know,
So
It's a great point.
that's my case. I rest my case.
Yeah.
Tip of the fedora.
No, but even Andor, you know,
Yeah.
like Andy Serkis's character, apparently he survives,
Oh, really? When he jumps.
but still,
but then again, all those people.
Great
who go
series.
To, when they camp out to steal the
it's the
credits,
garrison. Yeah.
Yeah, they die.
Yep.
He kills the other guy that he walks out with.
Yeah.
So what's going on? They're doing it. I guess they are doing it.
I think, yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just they'll kill off the characters that they can't make into toys. We got a question in the audience.
Do you think that Disney tries to trust them the rest of it? That's like where Mickey Mouse comes from, right? Of like trademark, copyright law. Like that's kind of the whole deal.
Yeah.
Do you think that could definitely play into it and streaming services on like Disney Plus, so they must have like basically a Sunday IP?
Yeah. No, that's a great point. That I don't know if that picked up. Do you know?
I don't know. You just repeat it real quick.
Okay. So he was saying, are they keeping characters alive so that they have an endless stream of IP for like their streaming and other properties? I think so.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate because you could do it a different way. Like you could just write good stories and continue to introduce new characters and continue that stream of revenue.
Yeah.
But instead, they just want to hold on to the past, which I guess makes sense. Like when you have a character like Ahsoka, of course these guys don't understand.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
genuinely, when we're sitting there watching it and Rosario Dawson goes to the lengths to act like that animated Ahsoka acted back in 2007 or whatever, when I was watching the Clone Wars, like it means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
So of course they want to retain a character like that, and I don't blame them for that. But at the same time, like the story needs to end at some point. And like you said, we are adults now, and we want adult stories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Good point.
but that's always been the problem with Star Wars. Like we grow out of it, and we want that same feeling that we had when we were kids, but we don't want it to be made for kids. You know what I mean?
We don't want those other kids to have a good experience.
Well, that's why people hated the prequels. They were chasing that dream of like the original trilogy, and they were like, "This is nothing like it was before. It's just made all kiddie now with Jar Jar Binks and all this stuff." But like George always says, it was for kids from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like you just grew out of it, which
is fair. It's a good point.
yeah.
That's why I can never have kids.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You should.
Okay.
Real quick, sidestep real fast here.
Yeah.
I did see a rumor of Obi-Wan season 2,
Really.
which I will be super mad if that does go through,
Yeah.
because I don't see any reason to continue that story. But
Well, Reva's still out there.
that's right.
So
She's still after Luke for some reason. Where is he?
Anyway, I just remember that.
isn't it just so sad though? They're like having fan edits, like the Patterson cut and Pixel Joker
Shout
95.
out, got a super famous thank you for that.
Yeah. Patterson cut, Pixel Joker 95. These
Did that one
fan
come out?
edits, huh?
Did that one come out?
No, but he just posted an update this week.
Okay.
So it's looking good.
Okay.
These fan edits are coming out, and they're gaining more traction than the show itself. Like they're more beloved already than the show itself was. Why make a second season unless you're going to hire those guys on, to make it better? But even that's not going to justify.
They should do something like that. Like, in Across the Spider-Verse, they saw a 14-year-old who made a Lego Spider-Man universe in a YouTube video, and they hired him.
Yeah.
They're people who actually listen, Sony.
Yeah.
Listen to their fans and know what they want and make improvements.
And look at the product.
in
It's
that
amazing.
aspect. And look at the product. It was probably the best movie of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Well, any other thoughts before we close up?
No, we gotta end early today. You guys gotta catch a movie.
Yeah, we're going to see Old Boy back in theaters, re-released and revamped. What's that word?
Yeah.
Remastered. So
Remastered.
Give a final plug for your podcast.
Film Fixation Podcast. Look it up on Spotify if you're a nerd. Look it up on YouTube and subscribe if you're cool. Okay.
Well, they're all going to look it up on Spotify because that's our listener base.
Oh yeah, because you guys are nerds. I'm just kidding. I love Star Wars. These guys
He does.
make it seem like I don't.
We'll have to play the Trivia Pursuit that you have again sometime.
Yeah, you'd get wrecked now.
Austin kills us at that
But-
game. It's insane.
I think Spencer would just.
I don't know,
We'd,
dude.
we'd have to play
Really?
without teams. I think that'd be fun.
I don't know, because here's the thing. I have newer knowledge. You'll probably beat me on a lot.
That's
of the
true.
older
There's
stuff.
a lot of behind the scenes stuff and everything like that.
That'd be
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Make that a special episode.
okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Well, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you
a
for
disciple
being a
of the
disciple of the
Force.
Force.